Right now, somewhere beneath the blazing East African sun, a hunter-gatherer is doing something that would seem almost impossible to most modern people. He's resting. Not because he's on vacation, not because he's retired, not because he's taking a break from a stressful week. He's resting because his work is finished. The Hadza of Tanzania, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies on Earth, still live in a way that resembles how humans lived for nearly 300,000 years. And according to decades of anthropological research, the average Hadza adult spends only a few hours each day on the tasks necessary for survival. Hunting, gathering, preparing food, maintaining tools. Once those jobs are done, the day belongs to them. Compare that to modern life, where many people spend more time commuting to work than hunter-gatherers spend working in an entire day. Which raises a fascinating question. Before offices, deadlines, emails, bills, and alarms, what exactly did ancient humans do all day? The popular image of prehistoric life is usually wrong. Most people imagine constant struggle, endless danger, and a daily battle against starvation. But when anthropologists began living with hunter-gatherer groups and carefully tracking how they spent their time, they discovered something unexpected. Human beings were not working from sunrise to sunset. In fact, many hunter-gatherer societies spent surprisingly little time securing food. The rest of the day was filled with socializing, storytelling, resting, playing, teaching children, repairing tools, visiting relatives, and simply existing. In 1968, anthropologist Richard Lee published detailed observations of the Juhoansi people of the Kalahari Desert and found that adults often spent only around 15 hours per week gathering food and meeting their basic needs. Your ancestors did not have bosses. They did not have performance reviews. They did not spend Sunday night dreading Monday morning. For most of human history, life moved at a pace dictated by nature rather than schedules. Imagine waking up 20,000 years ago. There is no alarm clock, no phone buzzing beside your head, no calendar reminders waiting to attack you the moment your eyes open. Instead, you wake slowly as sunlight begins to brighten the horizon. Around you, members of your camp are a few embers from last night's fire still glow in the darkness. You sleep on animal hides spread across grass or soft earth. Everything you own can be carried by hand. A spear, a bow, a digging stick, a few personal belongings, maybe some beads crafted by a family member. There is no house full of possessions, no storage units, no closets overflowing with forgotten purchases. Around 20 to 30 people live in your camp, and you know every one of them intimately, not through social media profiles, but through years of shared experiences. You know their strengths, weaknesses, habits, stories, and personalities. Your grandparents sleep nearby. Your children play a few feet away. Human beings evolved in communities exactly like this for thousands of generations. The first major activity of the day is often not work at all. It's conversation. Anthropologists repeatedly notice that hunter-gatherers spend enormous amounts of time talking, not because they are wasting time, but because conversation is the foundation of their society. Stories are exchanged, news travels, jokes are shared, relationships are maintained, conflicts are discussed. In the absence of governments, courts, police departments, or written laws, conversation acts as the operating system of the entire community. If someone becomes selfish, people talk about it. If someone lies, cheats, or breaks social expectations, word spreads quickly. Reputation matters because everyone depends on everyone else. Social order is maintained not through institutions, but through relationships. One famous example comes from Richard Lee himself. After living with the Juhoansi for years, he decided to buy a massive ox as a gift for the community. Instead of thanking him, people mocked the animal. They called it skinny. They joked that the meat would be terrible. They criticized his gift for days. Confused, Lee eventually asked why they were behaving this way. An elder explained that whenever a hunter brings home a large kill, the community intentionally insults it. They downplay its importance and make jokes about it. The reason is simple. Success can create arrogance, and arrogance threatens equality. By mocking great achievements, they prevent anyone from believing they are more important than everyone else. It sounds strange to modern ears, but it was an incredibly effective way to maintain social balance. As the morning continues, some men leave camp to hunt. Popular culture often portrays hunters as the primary providers, but reality is more complicated. Hunting is difficult, unpredictable, and often unsuccessful. A hunter may walk for miles, track an animal for hours, and still return empty-handed. Among the Hadza, many hunting trips end without a major catch. The dramatic image of the heroic hunter bringing food to the village is only part of the story. Because while hunting receives most of the attention, gathering provides the majority of the reliable food. Women leave camp in groups to collect roots, berries, fruits, nuts, and edible plants. Unlike hunting, gathering produces consistent results. Day after day, women return with food regardless of whether the hunters succeed. In many hunter-gatherer societies, women contribute more than half of the total calories consumed by the group. One of the most fascinating discoveries made by anthropologists is that some of the most productive gatherers are often grandmothers. Women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s continue gathering food and supporting younger generations. This observation led scientists to propose the grandmother hypothesis, which suggests that older women played a crucial role in human evolution by helping feed grandchildren and support families long after their childbearing years ended. Grandmothers increased the survival chances of future generations. In a very real sense, the existence of grandparents may have helped make humanity successful. Children spend their days differently as well. There are no classrooms, no standardized tests, and no scheduled activities. Instead, learning happens naturally. Young children follow adults and imitate what they see. Older children teach younger ones. Skills are learned through observation, experimentation, and play. A young boy practices with a small bow. A young girl learns to identify edible plants. By the time children reach adolescence, many already possess the skills necessary for survival. Human beings evolved learning by watching and doing, not by sitting at desks for 8 hours each day. When food begins returning to camp, it is shared almost immediately. Ownership works differently in hunter-gatherer societies. A successful hunter does not keep an entire animal for himself. The food is distributed throughout the community. Sharing is not optional. It is expected. Today, one person succeeds. Tomorrow, someone else does. Survival depends on cooperation. Anthropologists believe this constant exchange of resources may have played an important role in developing the extraordinary social intelligence that makes humans unique. After eating, the pace of life slows dramatically. During the hottest hours of the day, people rest. They nap in the shade. They repair tools. They weave baskets. They groom one another. They tell stories. They laugh. They simply spend time together. Modern society often treats rest as something that must be earned. But for most of human history, rest was simply a normal part of life. Human beings did not evolve to operate at maximum productivity every waking moment. Of course, hunter-gatherer life was not paradise. People got sick. Children died. Accidents happened. Loved ones were lost. Conflicts emerged. Jealousy existed. Human nature has always been human nature. But even conflict was often handled differently. If tensions became too great, individuals could simply leave and spend time with another nearby camp. Anthropologists sometimes describe this as voting with your feet. Mobility allowed people to avoid many of the long-term conflicts that arise when individuals are permanently tied to a single place. As evening approaches, people return from hunting trips, gathering expeditions, and visits to neighboring camps. Fires are lit, food is prepared, stories begin. The entire community gathers together to eat. Laughter echoes through the darkness. News is exchanged. Children listen as older generations share knowledge and memories. For hundreds of thousands of years, evenings like this formed the center of human life. Not screens, not television, not endless scrolling. People. None of this means ancient life was superior. Modern civilization has given us extraordinary advantages. Antibiotics, surgery, sanitation, electricity, refrigeration, and dramatically longer lifespans have transformed human existence. Nobody is suggesting we abandon those achievements. But there is a reason so many researchers leave hunter-gatherer communities with the same observation. These people often appear remarkably Anthropologist Marshall Solins famously called hunter-gatherers the original affluent society, not because they possessed wealth, but because they possessed enough. Their needs were relatively simple, and once those needs were met, they enjoyed something that has become surprisingly rare in the modern world. Time. Time to talk. Time to rest. Time to laugh. Time to sit beside people they cared about. The strange truth is that although civilization transformed almost every aspect of our lives, it did not transform what we are. We still carry the same brains, the same nervous systems, and many of the same psychological needs as our ancestors. We still crave connection, sunlight, movement, purpose, touch, community, and moments of genuine rest. Deep beneath the layers of technology, schedules, careers, and responsibilities, the hunter-gatherer still exists inside every one of us. We changed the world, but we never stop being